Hi, good morning, you guys. I just met with Greg. It looks like we're a go with this cultural competence program that we're trying to kick off with our SNA partners. And I know you guys have been involved in, setting up your teams to. Some of you have helped me a little bit with the material and gathering feedback, and you're starting to see some posters up. But I wanted to make sure that I ran through this with you as a group, got your feedback, and got some information out to you so that you could understand or know what to expect and could convey this to your team. Quickly today, I'm going to run through the purpose of the cultural competence, review some logistics with you as far as when your training is going to start for your teams, some expectations from both you and your teams for training next week, as well as on an ongoing. And then I'm going to walk through the training content with you. And again, I know some of you have been involved with the handout, but not all of you have. So I wanted to take some time to walk through that, make sure you understood, and get some feedback for you before we roll it out. So again, you guys remember the purpose of the cultural competence and build that relationship with SNA, right? It's really important that we bring them in. We've got people from different cultural backgrounds that we're going to be working with now, and we want to bridge that gap between our culture, or what we have here, and these people from maybe coming in and we're going to be working with directly. And this is all the way down to our entry-level employees. So it's important that we are not the only ones that understand what cultural competence is, but that we're getting this ingrained throughout the entire company. Okay, so next week we've got this is going to be 4 to 6 hours each. Each of your team members will be in training and out of productivity next week for at least 4 to 6 hours. And you should have meeting invites and a clear schedule when these folks will be off the floor. We've tried so that made it so that by productivity too much. There's a rotation. If you see anything wrong with the schedule where you got too many people that are off in training at the same time, let me know so we can try to rearrange that schedule sooner rather than later. And we hope to have all the training wrapped up by next week. Now, if you've got some, we will have makeup sessions the following week, but a bulk of the training is going to be completed next week. We've got some people flying in from other states to help get through all the training. Again, because we have to have 2 classes in a day, and one person can't do that because they're. So the expectations from your team is obviously be on time to training, come to training next week, pay attention in training, ask for some feedback, give feedback, and be an active participant in the training classes. After that, obviously we want people to be promoting this cultural competence, what they've learned from training, and put it into practice out there with the people that we do begin working with through SNA. That is going to be ongoing, right? And I really need your support out there to make sure that we're all working towards the same initiative. It's not necessarily new. We've worked with people of different cultures, but not at this level or breadth before. So just keep that in mind, how important your role is in pushing this down and across to make sure that the culture competence does and is embraced, I guess, by the entire company. Okay, so we all understand. Does anybody have any questions about why we're doing this, or what the purpose is, and how important this piece is in the successful relationship? Okay, all right, Shannon, you're good? Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to walk through the training content with you, and again, it is a handout. They will have this to take away and review. It's comprised of 7 components. The first part we're going to is, again, how do we recognize and accommodate other people's cultures. I think the recognition is the biggest part, right? Like recognizing when there's a difference, and then how do we read those cues and how do we change to those. We're going to talk about cultural communication, and communication isn't just me talking, right? It's I'm looking you in the eye, I'm looking down. What does that mean in different cultures? You know, a nodding of the head versus a shaking of the head. Different cultures have different meanings. So we're going to talk about community in a large holistic way. And that's the second component of training. We're going to walk through verbal and nonverbal cues, give very specific definitions of what those are, you know, so language, writing, and then body gestures, facial expressions, etc. Different case studies that have been documented, and then after we give examples of these case studies, I'm going to ask the groups or people to break out into groups and share personal experiences that they've had where they've seen that cultural competence. I think that'll encourage people to stay engaged. It'll make it personal. Also maybe be an aha moment where maybe they misread cues or they could have done something different and maybe they did something perfectly fine. But again, I think breaking out into those groups and sharing their experiences will help just seal that they understand and are engaged in the care in order to be successful with cultural competence. I'm going to reiterate the importance of cultural competence. We're going to talk through some key terms, and then I'm going to summarize by walking through again why is Spokes of Hope doing this, what the future looks like, and then what our future expectations are of them to ensure that this is something that we get out there across the organization and we continue to pay attention to. You know, and I think it's going to be important that we let them know if they struggle, if they find themselves don't know how to read the cues. You know, it might be a culture that they haven't been exposed to recently, and maybe nobody else in the company has either, that they have an escalation path or, you know, somebody that they can come to. And that would be you, obviously, but you know, training. Okay, so, you know, I said a lot here in a short amount of time. You know, I see everybody, you know, pretty much nodding that you understand, but do you have any feedback or do you have any concerns about any of your people in particular that may not have a problem understanding this concept or moving forward with this initiative? No, okay. Derek, do you feel like all of your people are going to be on board with this? Do you have any reservations at all? Okay, good. Okay, thank you. All right, Shannon. You come to me later separately, so that's fine if you do. I just want to make sure that we're clear here. I do have to roll this out pretty quickly, so I've got, you know, limited time. You know, I'd like everybody here to share their ideas and at least hear each other. Okay. Okay, I see you nodding. All right, we're good. And you helped quite a bit with the material, so, you know, I knew that you had a good understanding where we're headed with this. All right, and just to let you guys know, I'm going to be meeting with the SNA board members in 2 days just to walk through, make sure we're on the same page. I don't anticipate the agenda or the training content at this point, but obviously if something significant changes, you will hear about that either through training with your teams or I'll try to send out a quick update if I can. But again, I'm not expecting any major changes. Back and a couple of meetings we've had with individuals from SNA directly. All right, guys, thanks so much for your time. I know you're all very busy. And again, let me know if you have any concerns about the training schedule next week. I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.